Welcome to the Roundtable. My name is Holly Kellum, and joining me today is Ben Hedges. Ben, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we are talking about Elon Musk moving his companies out of California to Texas, namely two companies. We're talking about SpaceX and, of course, X, which I think everyone's more familiar with calling it Twitter. I certainly am. But yeah, he's moving both of these companies out. The SpaceX will go to Starbase, Texas.
Just the headquarters of SpaceX.
Just the headquarters,
yes. He already has a
He has
facility.
That's where he launches,
He has
I
a
think,
launch
isn't he?
pad,
And builds the rockets.
Yes, in Texas already. Yeah. Yes, and so yes, X Twitter is moving their headquarters, which, you know, for a long time, Silicon Valley has kind of had a monopoly on the tech industry, and so, you know, this moving to Texas is kind of a big issue.
And Elon Musk said in a statement, he said, "I'm fed up of, dodging gangs of violent drug addicts to get in the door," because obviously X is in San Francisco. San Francisco has a lot of problems with that kind of thing, low-level crime. But that's not really the real reason why. So why don't you tell us about what prompted this?
Yeah, so Governor Gavin Newsom just signed a bill that would prohibit schools from basically notifying parents if children decide to change their gender. Mainly in this case, I think it's their pronouns. Obviously, they're not getting surgery, but you know, if they just go by a different pronoun at school, this would prevent, you know, teachers from telling parents, for example. Okay,
and this comes off the back of because some school districts actually made rules that the teachers had to tell the parents. And now the governor and the state legislatures come in on top and said, no, we're going to make a rule that you can't. So it overrides whatever school districts have said. Now, Elon Musk actually, he told Gavin Newsom, I think it was a year ago, that he would do this. Let's read. I can read you out a little bit of his tweet. So he said, I did make it clear to Governor Newsom about a year ago that laws of this nature would force families and companies to leave California to protect their children. And then after they passed the law on Tuesday, Musk tweeted this: "This is the final straw. Because of this law and the many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies, SpaceX will now move its HQ from Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas." And it applies to X as well, Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of things. I mean, as you know, it's also a very difficult place to do business because of all of the regulations, how expensive it is. You know, it's a very expensive place to live. And I believe that he is a registered Texas resident. So when he pays his taxes, and there is no income tax in Texas. So, you know, I'm sure that was, a consideration. But I just think there are so many reasons, you know.
Taxes on his companies will be lower in Texas as well.
Probably.
In addition to his personal benefits.
Yeah.
What do you think, though, about the law? Do you think it'll, I mean, obviously I think parents should be in control of their own kids because they are minors, right? They're under 18. So basically anything that happens to your kid, you know, you should be notified about, especially if it's something as massive as that. The people who are supporting this say that teachers shouldn't determine when you should have these very personal conversations. And it should be that, like, oh, the kid will tell their parents when they're ready or something. So that's the opposing view from these people. But personally, I kind of think, well, you know, you are the parent, or they say parent or guardian, right? Like, you are the one who is responsible for them. So you really should be knowing what's going on. But what I think is, I don't really see if this law will be that effective anyway, because I kind of think that, you know, people gossip, right? If your kid was Tom and now he's going by Susan, other kids are going to talk about that. They're going to tell their parents, be like, hey, Mom, you guess what happened at school today? You know, Tom is now Susan. And they'll be like, oh, what? I'm going to tell his mom. I was just having tea with her this morning, you know. And they'll, you know, it's, I don't think it's going to be an effective law at actually, you know, doing what people think it will do.
Although I have heard cases of parents who are really kept in the dark for a long time about, and I think this speaks to the broader issue of, like, I think there is a concern that parents don't feel like they're in control of their kids' lives anymore. And not in control in a controlling way, but just like, you know, just don't know what's going on with their kids. And I think, there is concern in some circles that, the teachers are, kind of encouraging this and then not telling the parents.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily that, if the child has gender dysphoria that, they wouldn't be supportive of it necessarily, but maybe they don't want the teachers to encourage them.
So you think he gives the teachers a pass now, because if the teachers are encouraging it and then the
Right.
kid decides to do it, the teacher doesn't have to tell the parent, and so the parent then doesn't have an opportunity to ask questions. Otherwise,
Right.
before they might have been like, well, who told him to do this? And the teacher's like, well, actually I did. Yeah, I advised it. And what?
Right.
And then they go to the school board and they complain and the teacher gets in trouble and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. And I do think that even people that support, transgenderism, I don't think they necessarily want to lose this kind of communication, between the school and the parent, because, I think a lot of people who are parents want to know what's happening in their kids' lives. So I predict this might backfire, just in terms of popularity.
yes.
So that is all for this segment. If you guys like what you saw, subscribe, leave your comments below. Once again, I'm Holly Kellum, and this is The Roundtable.